flame. All of this vengeance, nothing could free my brain. 5-0 praying, hoping we might change. I know mumsy's praying, I say a prayer, hallowed be thy name. Feed my flame. All of this vengeance, nothing could free my brain. 5-0 praying, hoping we might change. I know mumsy's praying, I say a prayer, hallowed be thy name. Say your prayers. Bought him a Bible, he wanted trainers. Loads of laces, praying for changes, that's what's stuck in your ways is. Boy, them know when they trespass, they gon' need more than tasers. Pagans slide through, better bring more than shavers. 8 boys armed and dangerous. Ain't that fact, we stand first and they wait to react. I don't bake in the trap, but I bake in the trap. Got Tracy tasting the batch right now. When I raise my mash like down, my dog ain't chasing a cat. My young boy's chasing a pack. I wanna shoot, I'll wait for the strap. Or there could be two, he got shot and that could be you. We got glocks that the hood could use, but they look like bro when he knocked out. One eye open when I'm sleeping, cause if you snooze you lose. I got size 9s filling the G19, you couldn't feel my shoes. Feed my flame. All of this vengeance, nothing could free my brain. 5-0 praying, hoping we might change. I know mumsy's praying, I say a prayer, hallowed be thy name. Feed my flame. All of this vengeance, nothing could free my brain. 5-0 praying, hoping we might change. I know mumsy's praying, I say a prayer, hallowed be thy name. Still praying, it's been a hectic week, might spend a day in. Still playing, I tapped it a second ago and the thing's still spraying. Still raining, but that boy's on fire and he don't even know he's flaming. Police claiming, won't stop blaming, when will they take a break? Just them behind again, that time again, gotta take the chase. Base to base, motors rammed with shooters, there ain't no space to waste. It's make or break, seeing them fake until they obtain the fame. Not everyone's made the same, where I'm from, embrace the flame. Round here, cops don't rest. Round here, ops don't press. Suggestions stop those threats. 300 could've stopped those pets. He got shot and survived. You decide if he is or he's not so blessed. Everyone's got advice, but God knows best. Feed my flame. All of this vengeance, nothing could free my brain. 5-0 praying, hoping we might change. I know mumsy's praying, I say a prayer, hallowed be thy name. Feed my flame. All of this vengeance, nothing could free my brain. 5-0 praying, hoping we might change. I know mumsy's praying, I say a prayer, hallowed be thy name.
Roots Beats 808 Donkey COP Productions.
Don't worry. Don't worry, I'm nice. It's funny how time flies. We was kids trying to save up for GTA 5. Now it's G's in the T with like 5ZKs or a Glock doing up drive back. Robberies and violent crimes. Let corn flying and sirens cry. Love when the mileage runs on bribes. Rise up. Rise up, cause they wanna take it there. Really? They don't size up, minus the waps and weapons, it still wouldn't make it fair. Pull up, they run and they pray when we're here. I'm feeling the hate and fear. I can feel it. We ain't coming to spray in the air, so I suggest man stay in the clear. Hope someone's on the end of the barrel. I pray. Don't ask why I'm power, the 5-0 dressed in the man's apparel. 2 white girls in a boat trying to paddle, I'm watching them drop like Isaac's apple. Post up like a soldier inviting a battle, factual. No 4 wheels, man, get on the saddle. Formation, you could try, we'll tackle. I'm ready for war, rise up the battalion. Crash pop doors trying to kick off the stallion. I put mine, but he slapped it random. I ain't even got my belly on. Fucking hell. Buy it, expect nothing less from my close companion. Expect you losing your medallion. Expect touch on the ruin the party. Done. Pull up with a horse, not a Ferrari. No. I ain't come for Panani, I came with 2 waps, Nego, Cardi. Smartly roll up, fly at the car seat. Hella new shapes on the block like a carny. Is he a rat? Man, he can't be. Is he a op? He can't walk past me. Never. Think about what life would have been like. Imagine. If it wasn't E8 and E9. Imagine. If it wasn't 3-8s on 4-4s and getting more smoky than 3-5s. To make big men sit down in the beehive, bat you on track round D-sides. Rewind these times we was gliding, so where was you through the peak time? Summertime C8 gotta reach out. Access to a fire whenever. Got the turners, them on speed out. Meanwhile, stuck in the T, so my workload repounds. I don't sleep much and I'm needing the rest. Phone beats off and they're needing the best. I brought the broom and left with the broom. Funny how I'm still leaving a mess. Clean up. Fingers on the spin like the Wild Wild West. The up blocks where time flies best. On which up boys going sky high next. Bro, give me the drop, thank you for the text. Step out, tryna complete this test. Then check the news, gotta see if it's X'd or not. All cause they send empty threats. I'm over there moving like a pest. Mission failed if it ain't a death. More time high so they get shot less. Didn't have rides all the time, so we took them shotties on revs. Up it and tap, that's bodies and heads. They don't want problems, they avoid it. They run every time that we lift on point it. Found with a fight and point it. Shifting on corner, I know the Jason and Rick.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, gang. We're gonna go ahead and get it started here in about 2 minutes or so. If you guys look at the screen, right, I hope you guys are paying attention to the screen. Right, I put up some gold shorts. I hope you guys took them by market. Right, kind of gave you guys the parameters as well. But I ideally am looking at the 15-minute. We broke structure to the downside. That's all I was really waiting for, was like a clean break, which we just got. We actually just came back up and filled some insufficiency up here. Right, so to me, this 15-minute engulfing candle that we just got, followed by really just the beginning of this new hourly / 30-minute candle. You can see that we actually popped up. We filled whatever little insufficiency we had in here. So to me, I'm really just expecting a continuation lower. So if you guys do take shorts, to me, first TP, I'm kind of looking around this 19 area, right? To me, we could potentially just pop down into there and then reverse towards the upside. But I do want to see that fill at least. So to me, like I said, we're going to get it started here in about 2 minutes or so at 11:10. And give or take, we're going to start it. But keep sending out the link, family. Let's get at least 25, 30 plus on the call to start.
Yeah. Mr. Glock. Yeah, Camo AP, I'm a soldier. I got old money, I ain't spent yet, this shit mold. Yeah, I have my way around this bitch, I'm having motion. Who the fuck you put up in this blunt? This nigga smoke. Blue diamond chain on me, this bitch match the ocean. 30 in my size, 30 jeans with no holster. Eyes on the prize, yep, I'm tryna stay focused. I'm living like a king, bitch, I'm not your local joker. All about my bread here, yeah, I keep that toaster. I be sipping red and my little bitch sip mimosa. I hop up out the bed, say a prayer and count my dope. Then hop up in my Lamborghini truck with the dozer. Everybody know on me BK, I don't get no fucks. Wagyu steaks up on my plate, I came a long way from Coca. Niggas talking this and that and they don't even know us. And niggas out here cloud chasing for a name, broke as fuck. If you came from nothing, put your rollie on and hold it up. Paper route, hockey team don't know nobody cold as us. Crypto be the gang, that's what I bang, nobody holding us. Real stand up, nigga, don't see myself folding up. We turned her into diamonds and I'm trying to turn these boys to dust. Fuck this money and these cars and clothes, this shit don't mean that much. Yup, I made a couple million plus to twist my fingers up. I don't give no fuck about no bitch, a bitch gon' eat it up. Either way, I'ma get mine, I don't play. I rip the 5, not the 6, but I still keep a Drake. Got money all up on my mind, can't have no bitch in my face. Yeah, all I see is dollar signs and niggas on the side. Hey.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, family. How are we feeling today? I hope we're feeling okay. Drop a 1 in the chat if you guys could hear me, see me okay. Happy Tuesday. You know, definitely a happy Tuesday. Drop in the chat where you guys are tuning in from. If you guys are watching live, welcome, welcome. If you guys are watching the recording, it's your boy Cash and Pips. It's 11:11. We're back in the cut. Make sure you drop a like if you guys are here right now. Like I said, the likes help a lot. And then also make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel if you guys are not subscribed already. Because, sheesh, right? To me, definitely gonna be some good info. Give me 1 second. Okay, bussin'. So, See some Toronto, New York, Chicago. Right, welcome. But overall today, right, like I said, kind of right before, obviously I started the call, I was giving you guys a little bit of a breakdown just kind of on position-wise. Just something that I just took. I personally just shorted. I took a small position just because to me, we still could pop into this little IPA. We have a small insufficiency up in here. So to me, I wouldn't exactly be against us coming back up into this 15/30-minute point of interest. To me, it would actually make a little bit of sense. And then even taking a look at the hourly as well, right? Just the fact that we came all the way back up and we tapped this candle. To me, I don't expect this to wick back into here quite yet. If we do, then by all means, it'll be, like I said, it wouldn't be bad per se, but I'm just looking at this more as us kind of getting this continuation for the rest of the day. I don't think that we continue higher, in my opinion. I think that we probably start to trickle back down towards where we were close at the starting of the day. And I believe from then, we probably then break down even lower. Like I said, I want to see at least this little insufficiency get filled down here. And if we break below this, I think we probably take the entire low. But it was just interesting because yesterday gold, at least XAU USD and XAU GBP were diverging. So with the divergence, what was really happening was gold was, or XAU USD was kind of stuck here, kind of trickling its way up. It was more bullish than anything, right? And XAU GBP was more or less down here, right? So we were really not bullish at all, right? Up until about 2 o'clock. That 2 o'clock open, we swept the low of the day. Ooh, popped up, got that continuation, but it looks like based off the hourly, we actually really failed to make any significant break of structure. Even on the 4 hour, to me, I wouldn't consider this a break of structure, especially with just us engulfing to the downside right after. So to me, even hourly wise, it still looks like we're really just going to continue down in terms of XAU GBP, but XAU USD and then even silver, to me, we're just a little bit behind. They were lagging. So silver popped up and we took the highs of the last couple of days, the last 3 or 4 days worth of liquidity we captured on silver. Boom, and now you can see we're breaking down. So to me, it's kind of like a similar thing on gold. It's like we really just took the last couple of days worth of highs. I wanted to see it actually come a little bit higher, right, into this insufficiency up here. But we just missed it, right? Like we just missed filling the insufficiency, but I guess we kind of, like, in my eyes, there's still the IPA, but we did capture the liquidity. So the liquidity capture is sufficient enough for me. Like, there's enough money behind the move, in my eyes, to sit there and, like I said, just take these small positions, especially off the 15-minute, right? Just because of that little break of structure. But like I said, what I would expect right now, if we break above this little tiny area, like I said, I was just really playing this 30-minute IPA. So in my eyes, like I said, I played my position off of here, and I gave myself basically like a 5 to 10 pip kind of breather in terms of like stop loss at the top. So if I'm entering right here, right, my stop loss is at 33 on the dot, so it's about 12 pips. Right, and already just off the first initial reactions, like I'm pretty sure it went up more than 12 pips, right? Went up about 16 pips. So that was a 1-to-1, literally in like just one 5-minute candle. And even looking at it right now, like I said, it still looks clean. It was just obviously the beginning of the 30-minute candle. This already in itself looks clean to me. I think that we'll probably break down. This is the open of this 15-minute candle, right? This wick to me is not too convincing. To me, in my eyes, I think we probably engulf 30-minute wise as well. Like I said, just engulfing and closing down below these last 4 candles. To me, you have to understand that there's a lot of selling pressure now, right, in the market. Even if we go take a look at even the volume, right? The volume not so bad, right? It looks like there is some selling being offered, but ideally, like I said, I do want to just see this continuation to that fill at the very least. To me, it's about a 1 to 10 from current price action. If we can dig into this higher area, and let's say we could get just a tighter parameters, right? We could potentially be looking at like a 1 to 17 to the low, but to the same type of target area, basically be about a 1 to 13. So we'll see if we just really react out of here. Like I said, we should tap off this a couple times because, like I said, it's an IPA on the 30-minute. So really on the 15-minute, when we dig down, we can see that the IPA kind of extends a little bit higher. So the thing about IPAs too, I feel like a lot of people kind of get, you might get shook out of a trade just because, for example, an IPA might come in, like, boom, let's look at this. Right, so for example, with XAUUSD, just taking a look at the 4-hour, right, from the last couple of days, okay? So the 4-hour time frame in here, you can see we had this 4-hour IPA marked up, right? This is something that I called out on Sunday, I believe. You go watch the recording from Sunday's call. But basically, just taking a look at this area and looking at how we really just walk price up. If we dig down, because this is the 4-hour IPA, right? So if we dig down now into the same IPA, right, we sit here and we see on the 15-minute, right, 3 quick impulsive candles to the downside. Right at 8:30, 8:45, 9 o'clock, boom. You literally would have had all of maybe 10 minutes to get into this position. Realistically, you would have had 15 minutes, right, from the time that we came in, maybe about 20, right, 15 to 20, 30 at most, right, to be able to, and I'm talking 30 minutes, you would have been able to have an entry. The worst position you would have had is the top of the box. The best position probably closer to the bottom. I would say probably not even down here you would have caught. You probably would have caught like this, just with spread. So that's not even like you guys are not saying that you guys are not good enough. It's just more or less the fact that spread will probably be 2 or 3 pips. So, you know, this will probably be the best that the brokers will let you to get into. But realistically, when it comes down to this, right, you can see that we pop into this area a couple times before then going. You know, a person might sit here and enter on this 5-minute wick, right? Then their stop loss gets hit here, right? Or they get kind of scared because they're like, damn, it shouldn't have came back. Then they close their position. Then price ends up reversing, right? IPA is so IPA is just insufficient price action, right? So if you guys are familiar with imbalances, that's all it is. It's an imbalance in the market. Insufficient price action is not something you want to see. You want to see sufficient price action. Insufficient price action means that we are going to just have potential targets. We're going to have just certain areas in the market where price will be kind of glued to versus others. Like even for example, yesterday's entry, right? Right, so it's like we had initially taken what entry did we take? Did we take Sunday night? I think it was Sunday night. Oh yeah, boom, perfect. So Sunday night we took our position. If you guys want to go watch that recording, it's on my channel. But we took a position, I believe, from in here, if I'm not mistaken, or it actually might have been in this 5-minute. I think it actually was in here. It was on this wick. So this wick right here is where we entered, right? So the reason why this is our entry point on Sunday, not this wick. This is where the noobs got in. This is where we got in because we're better, right? But this wick right here on the 5-minute, right, in between this candle. So notice how this candle, we have this wick right here, right? And IPA is going to be consisted of 3 candles, okay? So the first candle is going to be, regardless of what it does, like if we're going down, boom, we'll have this up candle, right? The wick on the up candle is going to be important. This second candle is not so important because that's typically going to be where the insufficiency is. So it's going to be like, that's just basically going to be your target candle. And then the candle after it, immediately after it. So this candle right here, right? Notice how we have this big body, right? This selling candle, but we have no buys being offered in between basically these wicks. So understand this wick is representing that there is buys within this, whatever time frame you're looking at the candles on. So if we're looking at this on the 5-minute time frame, we know that this is obviously an insufficiency on the 5-minute, right? Because we have buys offered in here, right? Buys offered all in here. Then boom, impulsive sell. Then again, we only have buys offered up into here. So what you want to see in the market is not little holes and gaps in the market. This is what you want to see in the market. You want to see price action like this. So you see how we're just moving slowly and we're chalking up. Wake up, wake up. Like, that's healthy price action. Like, even this is all healthy price action. All these wicks, this is healthy price action. This is what you want to see in order to have us continue towards the upside or the downside, just depending on what's happening. So that's why in between these two candles, right, we found this area for a potential entry, and that's why we came into here and we dumped, right? So it's like IPA. Like I said, if you're not familiar with IPA, if you're in the academy and you're not familiar with IPA, you need to plug in. And if you're not in the academy and you're not familiar with IPA, then you guys just need to go back and watch some more recordings in terms of just understanding the insufficiencies, right? Because ideally an IPA, like I said, is just going to be a target in the market that really they're leaving clues behind, right? Think about if you're like a criminal and you're doing just criminal things, right? You're ideally going to sit there and you're going to try and, you know, hide what you're doing from whoever you're doing it to, or at least the masses, right? So it's kind of similar in the markets, right? They try and hide what they're doing, even though it's in plain sight to the masses of people. But the reason why the masses of people are unable to progress in trading is because they're all fundamentally doing the same thing. Like, people sit here and they say trading doesn't work. It's like, no, you don't work, right? How is it that trading doesn't work, but then we're catching entries with no drawdown every single fucking day on stream, right? Live. So this is where you have to really sit here and you have to ask yourself, okay, why is your trading not working, right? I know for the most part, most people lose most of their money outside of New York session. If you guys just trade during New York session, I guarantee you guys will stop losing so much stupid just opportunities, right? Because for the most part, A's and such, like what happened yesterday, just this continuation to the upside and really not getting any retracement, that doesn't really happen. Like, this is one out of, like, this is only going to happen probably once, twice, maybe the next 2 weeks, right? And it looks like we basically did the same shit the day before. So the likelihood of us really just continuing this right now without coming back and actually taking these lows, like when we do that, all we're doing is creating a shit ton of liquidity, right? Because even here, this is the low of the day from the previous, this is what day is it? Thursday. So this last week, right? Then if we even sit here and we take a look at yesterday, right? The low of yesterday is right on top of even more liquidity, right? So we have pocket of liquidity right here, pocket of liquidity right here. So that's why overall, like I said, we really could see price come all the way back down to here. So this is where we anticipate to see that first reaction, which is a 1 to 10. But you have to really put into perspective that in reality, we're looking for closer to a 1 to 21. Okay. So with 3 minutes left in this 30-minute candle, we ideally want to see price kind of close where it's at right now. It didn't really have to take off right now. Like I said, for it to take off, that would kind of create some more insufficiency. What we're creating right now is that healthy price action. We're offering the buys. Like, you have to really understand that insufficiency in simplistic terms just basically means that during the market, at some point, there was no buys or sells offered during a move, right? So if we see a big impulsive down move and there's an IPA, basically what that means was there was no buys offered within just a certain amount of candles. Okay, so when there's no buys being offered, you have to understand the market is only buys and sells. Like, people are buying and selling every second, right? So for example, if you buy into the market, you're basically buying someone's stop loss. Like someone's stop loss is getting hit when you're buying. Okay, just like when your stop loss gets hit, that could be someone's take profit, right? So I want you guys to think about taking orders in the market more similar to energy as like something that kind of loses. Like energy doesn't like lose or it doesn't die or it doesn't like energy is transferred. Okay, so contracts are transferred the same. So in the markets, it's basically the same shit. It's like you were literally trading contracts. So it's like contracts don't open and close. Contracts literally just get exchanged. So if you're buying, for example, you have a buy contract, and basically what you're doing is you are selling your buy contract to someone who's on the opposite side of you. That's basically all that happens, right? So that is kind of understanding a little bit more in terms of like just that aspect. But if we're really sitting here and we're talking about IPAs, like I said, the market needs to offer buys and sells all the time in order for it to be healthy price action. And if there's not buys and sells, like I said, we create these insufficiencies that are almost like magnets. Like I want you to think about like magnets in the market. That's almost a magnet. And like the candles, when they get there, you have to think about it as like boom, it's literally glued to these insufficiencies. Because like I said, it's no coincidence just how we react out of these areas all the time. Like I said, you ever think that you're gonna miss an entry? No, it's like you might have saw this at the beginning of the call and you might have saw price drop 16 pips already. But then what ended up happening? Price came back. Price came back. Right? Price came back. Price came back like 4 or 5 times to the same area. Right? And it keeps dropping, keeps dropping. The difference between people who are probably experiencing just inconsistent success, you guys probably enter at the bottom here. Right? Because I give you the areas. Just because I give you the areas and we're in a little bit of profit doesn't mean you chase it, right? It means that, okay, this is basically where we should wait for price to come back down to. If it comes back down to it, this is what we're expecting. So ideally, if this candle does engulf right now, which it looks like it's going to in the next minute, an engulfing candle, for those of you that don't know, basically just means that the candle is bigger than the previous one. So if we sell off, right, or in this case, we have this buy candle, the body of this candle, right, is smaller than this sell candle, right? So the body of the sell candle is currently basically eating it. I like to think of it as like eating the candles, right? So you can see this big sell candle was eaten by this big buy candle. So that's an engulfing candle. Even here, this engulfing candle. So realistically right now, like I said, we're getting these engulfing candles to the downside. Even though we engulf to the upside, right? To me, we engulf to the upside after a break of structure on the 15-minute. So the fact that we broke structure and then kind of pop back up. And even what we're playing off of right now, like the same area that we're playing off of, basically the area right on top of it, this filled an IPA. So this was an IPA in here. Notice how this big sell candle, we have this wick here, right, which means that there was buys offered up until here, and then this wick up into here, that shows us that there was only buys offered up into here. That means that if we dig down into this candle, right, it really wasn't anything too small on the smaller time frames, right? Because if we dig down to the smaller time frames, this same insufficiency, this is why I say this is why you want to dig down to the smaller time frames, because sometimes we'll fill on the smaller time frame right away, then we'll come back like here and fill on the higher time frame, then go. But then people will kind of get discouraged because they entered on the re-entry here, not expecting it to come back on the higher time frame just because they got into a smaller time frame entry, right? So notice how we didn't even see the full hole, right, on the 5-minute, but on the 3-minute now we see it, right? We see the insufficiency where it was at least, right? On the 1-minute it's not so clean, but 3-minute is clean, right? This insufficiency in here. And now we go back to the 15-minute. It makes a lot of sense why we did that, right? So the market just opened up. If you miss gold shorts, to me, us popping up right now, you could enter right now by market, right? Use your own risk. If you're entering here, I would have like a tight stop, like I said, like 10 pips. We could pop, like we could literally, it could just wick you out and then fall. So that's why I'm kind of playing like a tighter area, because to me there is just this whole IPA and 3-minute candle in here. So to me it's like I have my stop basically like I said at 33, because if we hit it, I'm basically gonna be getting in as it's getting hit, just because I don't have my full position on. I have like a quarter of my position on, So I took that small quarter position off the 30-minute IPA with the expectation that we were really going to come up. So now to me, it's like I would just put the rest of it on if we can get into that area, but we might not even break above this 30-minute area. We might just tap. Like, notice where we're tapping again. Like, this shit's so fractal, right? We're basically just tapping this or coming back to the same insufficiency. You notice that we pushed through prior, right? So in my eyes, if this is really going to kind of fall from here, I wouldn't want to see us truthfully push too much higher than this, right? Whatever upward movement we're kind of getting right now, that's kind of all I would want to see. I would want to see us start to just get some exhaustion, especially up in here, right? So as you can see, as soon as we tapped it, we're kind of getting a little bit of a, not a crazy bounce, but ideally we're starting to slow down a little bit, which is what you want to see. That to me makes me feel a little bit better about just shorts, because we shouldn't really be kind of flying through these areas, right? For us to come through quick and get like quick little impulsive wicks, like that's cool, right? But at the same time, for us to just really just fly through these certain areas without kind of like trickling into it, there's just certain things that don't really occur as often in the markets. So it's just really, like I said, just following the algorithm and just getting used to, or playing what you're used to, essentially. Because like I said, like this area, I gave you guys full breakdown, right? So it's like if you entered later, you probably got a better entry than people that entered at the beginning, right? So even for me, I just put on a little bit more in my position right now with us coming into this insufficiency. And to me, I would just basically put on the rest of my position if we could fill this, just depending on how we fill it, the timing, right? So obviously, like I said, we don't want to see us really hang around up here too much. We kind of want to see us start to break down, especially leading into the ending of this hourly candle. To me, we would ideally just want to see us continue to run bearish. We wouldn't want to see us really run higher. But just with us coming back up, like I said, filling this IPA, now we're giving us that green light to be able to continue lower without leaving too many insufficiencies, right? Notice how, boom, we make a lower low, pop back up, fill an IPA. Now we basically broke, I'm pretty sure we broke structure on the 5 minute to the downside. Like, not really, but besides the point, like I said, the insufficiency, like I said, it's so fractal. Like, there's no coincidence that we're getting a reaction out of this area. Like I said, why is it this area and why is it not another area? And it's just because of the simplistic fact of identifying and just knowing what to look for when it comes to IPAs and insufficient price action. So this is why I really want you guys, when it comes down to studying, it's like you have to ask questions. Like, if you don't know what an insufficiency is or insufficient price action is, you got to ask. Because if you're not able to consistently identify these areas and align them with a higher time frame, like for example, you might sit there and you might be looking at a higher time frame IPA. You might be looking at 2, but because you didn't go down to the smaller time frame and kind of look at how it filled, the top IPA might have actually filled so perfectly, and the bottom one might have had some insufficiency. So you might be sitting there waiting for the top, which is fine, right? To wait for the top, there's nothing wrong with that. But you wait for the top and it doesn't come there, and it ends up coming to the first area. And because you weren't able to just read price action, because you were sitting there just emotionally attached to whatever outcome you desired for the market, then that's what you got. Like I said, boom, we get this wick into there on the 5 minute. Now to me, this 5 minute candle in a perfect world would engulf this candle, right? So to me, like, this 5 minute candle will actually close below this engulfing candle towards the upside. And the reason for that is because to me, this really just needs to dip if we are going to continue lower. Because if we don't dip from here, like I said, we'll probably just kind of trickle up a little bit higher towards the ending of the day. And then we probably close around this high, right? If we don't fall from here. But overall, to me, like I said first, like, we just have some liquidity right here. So we have equal lows. Also looks like we have a tad little IPA in here. This is really where we came and we filled prior, right? So like I said, if you entered basically here, right, you'd still only be in drawdown like a couple pips. But if you were able to position yourself maybe a little bit higher, this is where it gets fucking stupid with the risk to reward, right? Because you go from a 12 pip risk, which still is, show me people that are getting you into gold with lower than a 40-50 pip stop loss consistently for more than 200 to 300 pip moves. Show me, find me someone, please. I want to meet that guy, because probably I could learn something from him. 100%, right? But until you find me that guy, I'm him. Right? So this is why we have to sit here and just really understand what to look for on a consistent basis, so you can sit here and position yourself, and just understand what to look for versus just sitting here and kind of just guessing, right? Because like I said, by us just simply cutting down this this IPA, or cutting down this stop loss, right? Our same 1 to 10, or I think it was a 1 to 20 turns to 1 to 30, right? Let's say we even want to TP just at this first low. Now this turns into a 1 to 6 basically already off the rip, right? To this next IPA right below is a 1 to 10. To this first set of equal lows, a 1 to 22, right? So imagine now you're able to risk 5 pips on gold for 110 consistently. Right, so that means for every $5 you risk, you're looking to make $100. So that's amazing, right? I feel like a lot of people would really benefit from being able to do that. Okay, so just being able to sit here and kind of, like I said, dig down. In my eyes, like I said, if we don't trickle from here, we're just going to probably slowly just kind of walk ourselves up. And like I said, I don't think we take the high again of the day. I think we probably close just below it. But overall, I would want to see these lows get taken. Just because for me, DXY overall, I want to see us fly, right? Now that we dug into this daily, we filled this IPA that we were waiting for, right? We really just... We came down to the lowest point that we really want to see DXY. To me, DXY, if we don't flip from here, we're just going to push down a little bit more, which means gold probably fills that IPA fully that we kind of reacted out of yesterday. And then out of that fill, we basically just get that continuation towards the downside, in my opinion. But DXY, in my eyes, I'm anticipating to just really get a reversal out of this particular area, especially the last 2 days, just with price action. It didn't really look like there's, like, after we broke down this yesterday, to me, I was just really waiting for the bottom of this structure to get tested, which we're getting that reaction out of this area right now. So that's kind of why I'm looking for shorts as well on gold, just because to me, dollar, I think, could fly. So this is kind of just having alignment and confluence with not just gold, but also DXY, which is going to control just obviously the movement of dollar, or of gold. Then on top of that, we have XAU GBP, which, like I said, is kind of equivalent to, it's like the US 30 of like the metals, or at least gold. Because obviously you could trade gold against a lot of different currencies. You could trade gold against GBP, USD, the euro. So you could trade gold against a lot of things, but XAU GBP in particular is my favorite, just because you really do, if you just think about it from a fundamental aspect, the pound is the strongest currency, right, out of the ones that we're trading on a day-to-day basis versus like the US dollar, the yen, the euro. So if the pound is the strongest currency and gold is heavily manipulated, why wouldn't I look at XAU GBP to get an idea of what's going on with XAU USD? Because for me, I've been more on the bear side just because of XAU GBP. I don't think we're ready to buy yet, right? Or at least I didn't think we were ready to buy until we kind of got this little accumulation to me, swoop, sweep. Now it looks like we're ready to potentially go higher. So now I would say GBP looks ready to kind of pop up a little bit if we do. But silver now looks like we actually could finally start to break down a little bit, which is what I wanted to see as well. Silver just looked fucking extremely bullish. We had this IPA in the 4 hour, which we started to feel a little bit in here. It looks like we came in, we filled a little bit more. Now on the 4 hour, it looks like we have it's basically this third consecutive down candle printing, which is ideally what we want to see, which is clean, right? XAU USD, right? Kind of just doing that thing. Like I said, 3 minute wise, just being patient. It looks ugly on the smaller time frames. That's why you don't really want to be on the smaller time frames on gold. Really just want to, unless you're taking a smaller time frame entry, like obviously you want to look at the smaller time frames to kind of see the reaction out of that area. But sometimes the thing is with the smaller time frame areas, we kind of expect the reaction right away, when in reality sometimes we're actually playing out of a higher time frame IPA. So even though we might be taking this 3 minute point of interest in here, this is really a 15 minute insufficiency, so it could take us 15 to 20 minutes to kind of trade through this area to then either break our way down or continue higher, depending on what we're doing, because regardless if we're going to go higher or not, right, there's an insufficiency in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to correct that. We're going to correct the lack of bias that we're offered within this area. And then what we're going to do is, like I said, we're either going to continue to buy through it, right, which obviously means we push higher, or we're going to just actually sell off, which means that we continue to push to the downside a little bit, which, wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing per se. But when it comes down to the indices, we could take a look at the indices real quick too. Not real quick. Alright, so I wanted to see if we could actually, if we would have shorted out of either of these areas for US 30. US 30 is actually gnarly. Like, really just took all the lows from yesterday and then boom, flew. Right, so overall for me, for the indices, obviously you guys know for me, even before we look at NAS, right, or bullish, to me, US 30 though, it appears as though from the 4 hour we actually broke above this previous lower high, which to me looks interesting because obviously we get that break to the upside, right? But then to me, what I like initially too, just looking at it as soon as I cleared the chart, not only do we have the 4 hour breaker structure above this high, above this lower high, we also have this wick on the bottom of this 4 hour candle, which filled 4 hour insufficiency, which is beautiful. So to me, hourly wise, filled the same type of insufficiency in there. Very, very, very clean. 30 minute, same thing. 15 minute would have been where you took your entry off these candles, right? If you played and just waited for structure to close, right, you could have waited for this wick to push through below this whole body of the candle, and once the body closed, right, you could have took a potential entry out of there. Stop loss below the low, 20 pips, or this is 30, so 20 points. Right, 1 to 6, 1 to 5, give or take about that first target. So that would have been 30, right? If you were to have been looking for potential entries for 30, right? Ideally, just seeing how we came back to this New York low. Like, it's coincident. It's not coincidental. It's fractal, right? So it's no coincidence that we come back to New York's low and we fail to breach the low. Even though we pushed, like, I guess we actually did make a new low, but we failed to get a candle close below that area, which to me is what I would have wanted to see. And then even with the 5 minute, right, looking at the 5 minute, it was just a very clean IPA fill. Even if you missed this first initial wick, you could have waited for this break above here. As soon as we dig back into this last down candle, right, you could have potentially took your entry off here. That would have been the no drawdown, and continuation move. Ideally for NAS, NAS actually looks like it's gonna go down. So NAS, to me, it looks like it actually wants to go a little bit lower. IPA right in here, or not IPA, we have liquidity of equal lows resting really all to the left of this whole area. And then we have IPA down here. So to me, it looks like we're kind of creating targets on the upside for us to take as well. So I think just really wherever we break out of first, I feel like we're just going to go the opposite way. So for example, if we break out to the downside first and we take these lows, I think we probably continue higher. But if we can break above these highs and fill in this insufficiency, I think we definitely continue lower. But overall, based off of just where current price is, I think we do go lower, and it looks like we probably will target these lows, right, as of right now. So to me, that's what I would expect potentially for US 30. Sorry, I just want to take a look at gold real quick. Damn, I got my shit hit out. Vote my trash entry. Forgot to change it. But basically, when it comes down to obviously just gold as a whole, to me, like I said, the reaction that we're getting right now is what we would have wanted to see in terms of just continuations. Like I said, we didn't really want to see it hang around here. So the fact that we really just broke down, like I said, that's ideally what you want to see when it comes down to just this downward movement and continuation towards downside, right? We don't want to see price kind of fuck around and find out, right? We really want to see prices continue. So ideally, like I said, family, this is just a very, very clean little potential move, right? Obviously, if we get this continuation, but 3-minute wise, and just especially on the 15-minute, it looks very clean right now. Like I said, I wanted to see us engulf on that 5-minute candle, but the 15-minute was even better, right? Like I said, so ideally, like I said, if you guys entered, depending on where you guys got in, you guys should be good. If you had your stop like literally right at the top here, you probably would have got tapped. Because I know my first initial position got tapped out of that area, but I did have my stop like a little bit higher on my like on my re-entries. So to me, you know, that's just one thing to definitely pay attention to. If you got tapped, to me it's still valid, so you could really just play the continuation. I wouldn't expect to see it come back up today. If we're really just going to continue lower, we're going to continue down for the rest of the day. To me, you guys should probably be able to take profit around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which would be basically the open of the next 4-hour candle. So to me, I would say this would be good to hold for the next couple of hours at the very least. But if you guys got in, drop an XAU USD in the chat if you guys got in. How many times can a market fill an area? Truthfully, it can fill an area probably like the most I've seen it fill an area is like probably like 10 times. Like no bullshit. Like, and when I say 10 times, I mean like that bitch got filled 10 times on like the higher time frame. Like literally like the 4-hour time frame, I've seen shit retest like 10-15 times before continuing. Like I've seen things test like basically 2 or 3 times a week, the same area for like 2 months before then continuing. Right, beautiful, beautiful. I love to see all the XAU USDs. If you guys took the entry and you guys post on the Instagram, make sure you guys tag me on the gram. Right, the one thing about marketing and trading is I feel like a lot of people are like, I don't want to build, or I don't want to. It's not a matter of building, because to me, like, I get it, right? Because you guys know that I really like this. All I do, I just do the trading. I don't promote like building a business. I don't promote like signing people up or doing none of that shit. Really, like, students come to me because they want value, but that's really it, right? I don't really encourage my students to go get more students unless that's something that they really want to do. But one thing that really I think you guys just gotta be aware of is you guys can plant seeds in all your friends' heads. Like, you have to understand that you can't go tell your friends like, ooh, trading is gonna change your life, da da da. Like, you just have to follow up with results and success. So for example, it's like, you should tell them, hey, I just started investing, whoop, whoop, whoop. They're going to be like, oh, whoop, that's lit, da-da-da-da. The next time that you guys see them, they're going to be like, yo, how's that little investing thing going? You're going to be like, you know, it's going pretty good, right? It's going pretty good. I actually went and I made 10% of my account, right? You know, one of my business partners, he actually hosts a call in the morning. So while I get ready for work, I was actually able to make enough money this month to pay for my car note, or pay for gas, or pay for my phone bill. So I was able to pay a bill through investing while I work a job. And then people are going to start to look at you. They're going to be like, damn, right? So they might not even want to want more info from there. The thing is, when you guys present this opportunity to people, you guys kind of just, you don't shut up and you just spit out so much information to people that they didn't ask for, right? You got to move like a professional. So all you have to do is just pique people's interest, right? The best way to sell people is not to sell people. People hate to be sold, but people love to buy things. So you just have to figure out what people want in their life. Like, that's where conversation comes in. It's asking them, like, what are your goals? What are your aspirations? Right? Because if somebody works at Walmart and they tell me their dream is to travel across the world, you know, I'm really gonna sit there and I'm gonna ask them, like, do you think Walmart is gonna get you to that position that you want to be in? And genuinely, most people will say no, right? Because if you guys have actually gone through any of the books of successful people, they all talk about the same laws of the universe, and they all talk about you have to be willing to provide service to your community if you want to expect riches. So you don't think that helping someone is even complimenting them. Like, that's helping someone, right? That is literally helping. You complimenting someone, you don't even understand that could have just made their day, right? But then now you're sitting here and it's like you're just trying to do the most instead of just doing the least. Like, you could really help people in different ways outside of the way that you've been programmed to think that you can. Like, you've been programmed to think for the most part that you can only help people with money, and that's not the case, right? What we have to do is we have to sit here and we have to genuinely just learn how to care about other people, right? You have to just learn to not expect things from other people. You have to learn to put things into the universe that you want to come back to you, but not expect it to come back from the place that you put it out into the universe. Because that's where I think a lot of people get stuck. A lot of people are sitting there and they help certain people and they're like, damn, this person doesn't help me. It's like, that person's not supposed to help you, right? And the reason why you're not even getting helped is because you're expecting something from maybe not only that person, but someone else. So you have to stop expecting things and you have to just start feeling as though like these things already are. Like, you can't sit here and anticipate $1 million. You have to sit here and feel like $1 million is already here, right? Like I said, if you guys have people in your life, like I said, you guys might think, damn, like nobody wants to do this trading thing. No, people don't trust you enough to do it. Because if someone trusted you, they would do anything that you told them to do. And that's a fact. Like, think about it. Like, if you guys have little siblings, think about when you guys were kids and you told your little sibling to go do something that you knew was probably gonna get them in trouble, but you knew that they would listen to you because you're older sibling, your big bro, your big sis, whatever the case may be, right? It's like, that happened a lot, right? Probably growing up. So what we have to sit here and we have to do is we have to shift out of that mindset that we've been programmed and been brought and raised into as children. Because a lot of us right now are hindering our own success because our misconception of just how to help the universe and help the world. We're sitting here and we're doing ourselves a disservice, and we're also doing a disservice to the rest of the world. Because if people respected you, people would do anything that you told them to. So you really have to sit here and you have to ask, is it that they don't want to do trading, or is it that the people in your life don't respect you? Then you have to ask yourself, do you want to be around people who don't respect you? Do you want to be around people when you present them $1 million ideas, or if you provide to them the solution to all of their problems and all of their issues, and they don't want to do it? Are those the type of people that you even want to help? Like, do you want to help people that don't want to be helped? Because a lot of you guys be trying to help your fucking bummy friends, and I'm saying they're bummy because they don't have the same goals and aspirations as you. They don't care to invest and they don't want to invest, and that's not a bad thing, but you are a representation of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So to me, if someone is closed-minded to making extra money, they are probably going to be fucking broke. And if they're not broke, they're not free. Cool, you make 100K, you work 40 hours a week, go to work. Like, I don't care if you make 100K, I don't care if you make 150K, you trade 75 hours of your week to go make that money. You trade 50 hours of your week to make that money. Don't you have a husband? Don't you have a wife that you like? Don't you have kids that you like? Because to me, I'm not working 40 hours and fucking having a kid. I'll tell you that. I'm not working 40 hours and raising a family. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I'm gonna be working, but I'm not gonna be clocked in. Like, I'm gonna be working 40, 50 hours a week on the road, which means I make my own schedule, which means if I want to go motherfucking play catch at fucking 9 o'clock during New York session and I want to push New York session back 30 minutes, then motherfucker, I'm doing it. That's freedom. So you have to ask yourself, do you guys live life free, or do you guys just live life and you're in survival, right? Do you make your wants fit your income, or do you make your income fit your wants? A lot of people make their wants fit their income, right? A lot of you guys are not making enough money, so you justify not getting the nicer car. You justify not getting the nicer house. You justify not getting the nicer things. When in reality, you want the nicer shit, but then you sit there and you're around your friends and you're like, fuck Gucci. I don't even like Gucci. I don't even like materialistic shit. It's like, you don't like materialistic shit, but you're a dumbass. I guarantee you by choice, right? You religiously buy something only due to the brand name. I guarantee you almost every single day, if not every single day, every single week, you're buying something that has a brand name just because of the brand name. So you want to sit here and say, I don't want to buy Gucci because it's brand name, it's designer. But it's like your bum ass low-key wants all the Gucci and all the Louis. But you sit here and you justify yourself saying what all the broke people say. Oh, I don't want it. That's expensive. How is something expensive if you make enough money to be able to afford it 50 times, 100 times over? Is that too expensive? Or is that just too expensive relative to your perspective of what money is? Like, what is expensive? If you guys knew money was fake, what's expensive? If you really understood money, you would understand that it's not actually valued at anything. It's valued what we're told it's valued. So you sit here and it's like, you're worried about money that's not actually worth what you're told it's worth to buy shit that you've convinced yourself that you don't want, even though you know you want it. It's like, you might not even like materialistic shit in terms of designer, but you might like watches. You might like traveling. Like, you might like something that's luxury and that's higher end, that costs money. And it's like, if you like that shit, then think about how you can create ways to do that and live that. For me, I hated having a boss. So what did I do? I made sure from the time that I was 17 years old, I never had a boss ever again. Right? So if I sat here and I made sure that I never had a boss from the time I was 17 years old, the mentality I've been moving with since I was 16, 17, 18 years old. I haven't had a boss since I was 17 because I told myself I was never going to have a boss. You have to understand that I made so many connections and so many networks because I learned how to communicate and speak with people in a business manner. I go into restaurants and it's like I'm greeted amazingly. I could go into a restaurant for the first time and I'm going to get greeted amazingly. Like, you could ask anyone that goes out to like eat with me. When we go to higher end restaurants, I'm almost always making friends with someone that works there. Almost always. Like 9 times out of 10, I'm going to make friends with the person that's serving us. And coincidentally, it's always the person that serves us that has the most pull in whatever restaurant I go to. So I'm talking pull. Like, do you guys consistently go to restaurants and get free shit? Drop a yes or no in the chat. Like, do you guys consistently go to restaurants and get free drinks and free alcohol without asking? And I'm talking 4 or 5 star restaurants. I'm talking down a place where you blink and you spent $50, $60. Like, I'm talking a drink costs $25, $30. If you want a double, $35 for a double. It's like, if you haven't experienced those type of things, it's because you're not attractive enough. And I don't mean that physically. Like, I don't mean you're not pretty enough, you're not good looking enough. I just mean from the aspect of business and sales, you're not attractive. You're not clean, you're not well spoken, you're not put together. Right? And even if you're well-rounded, you're put together, you might just not be dressing right. Like, look at what you're dressing. How do you guys expect people to take you serious when you say you do business, but you dress like a fucking bum? Your shoes are fucking dirty. Like, don't be one of those people that wear dirty Air Force Ones, right? Look at this. We're making money right now. This is why I'm talking my shit, right? Because we're up right now. If we were down, I would call over. No, I'm just kidding. But you have to understand, people walk around with these dirty-ass Air Force Ones and wonder why people don't look at them serious. If you're a man especially, you have to understand, the first thing a woman is going to look at when they look at you is not your face. They're going to look at your fucking shoes. So if you have dirty shoes, a girl's already going to dub you just off the fact that you have dirty. You could be motherfucking Ken doll, motherfucking the most handsome fucking model in the world. But then she looks at your fucking beat-up Air Force G-Phazos. She's going to sit there and she can be like, damn, I ain't fucking with this guy. If his shoes are dirty, then damn. What else is shaking? What else is lacking? Right? And that's just the simple fact of things. So put yourself together better. Women, if you're a woman and you want people to take you seriously, it's like, wear some dress clothes, wear some dress pants, wear a dress shirt. Right? Stop wearing dresses and expecting guys to not flirt with you. If you wanna get business, don't wear a dress and go try and approach people. Right? You could wear a dress, but it's like, you might get the wrong reaction as opposed to you wearing like a nice dress pants and a nice dress shirt. If you come to someone on dress pants and dress shirt, they're not even gonna fuck with you. They're gonna be like, damn, right? Some nice heels, whatever. It's like if you're wearing a dress, wear a dress that's like not a dress you would wear to the club for your homie's bachelorette party. Like you see what I'm saying? It's like, it's not to say that you can't wear what you want, but it's like you have to understand what type of image that you're portraying. Because to me, I was always the type of person that said, I don't give a fuck about what other people think. And it's not about what other people think, but it's about being able to play your cards right in the room, right? This is chess, not checkers, right? It's not about conforming to something that you don't like. It's just understanding that this is not your fucking game. So you have to play by their rules. We have to play by their rules. So the rules of this game is shit. You got to dress a little bit nicer, right? You got to be taken a little bit serious, especially if we're young. We're young entrepreneurs. I'm a 20-year-old, right? To me, as long as I put together a nice fit, I get taken seriously. I don't have to necessarily wear dress clothes anymore because I have designer and all of that shit. But it's like, even if you have designer, it's like, shit, it doesn't really fucking matter. Like, I was putting nice fits together when I was broke, right? When I was broke, it was almost easier to dress up in the suits. Like, since I made more money, I actually dress down a little bit more now. I wear track pants and track suits and all that shit a lot more than I used to, right? And that's just because to me, it's like, I'm buying newer stuff. Like, for me, if I'm wearing a tracksuit, I'm wearing my homie's tracksuit, or I'm wearing a tracksuit that I really like. So this is where you guys have to really put into perspective, right? We as humans, like, we kind of create the boundaries for ourselves. And like I said, when you have bummy friends around you, and when you don't have people that are in your circle that are progressing for the same things that you want, it makes it harder to get to where you want. Like I said, you guys come on my calls every single week and you catch at least one trade. We caught a trade yesterday, or we caught a trade on Sunday, we caught a trade today. And it's like, you just making money hopping on these calls. Like I said, you're in proximity with me. So it's like, think about the proximity that you spend with me. Like, think about every time you hop on a call with me. You hop on a call with me for about an hour at the very most. And it's like, you literally learn more and make more money than hanging out with most of your friends, if I'm being quite honest. How many of your friends just give you money opportunities like this? Right? And not a lot. So this is why we really have to sit here and we have to be willing to lock in consistently. Like I said, I have a lot of tools and a lot of resources, but a lot of people don't ask questions, right? A lot of people are not really coachable to the extent that they think, right? So really what I want you guys to understand is starting next week, okay? So starting on Sunday, what I'm going to be doing, right, is... Sorry, I'm just typing this heading. I'm going to be starting kind of like a new boot camp, right? But basically, this is going to be accessible to anybody everywhere. And what we're going to be doing, right, is we're going to be going through, ideally, a blitz of calls, right? So Sunday through Monday next week, right, we're going to have 3 calls, or I said 3-day blitz, and I said Sunday through Monday. Sunday through, like, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? We're going to have at least a call a day. One is going to be strict trading oriented. The next one is going to be mindset and psychology oriented. How to change your habits daily. How to increase yourself 1% every day and actually progressively get better and also feel good about doing it. And then the third thing is really going to be just a plan in terms of finances. A plan in terms of like the next 6 months. And then also how to set proper goals. Because most of you guys set shitty goals. You don't hit the goals, and it's not because the goals are unrealistic. Like, you might sit there and it's like you're getting discouraged because you have $1 million as your goal, but it's like the $1 million being the goal is not the issue. Like, that's fine to have $1 million as a goal, but ask yourself, what is the most amount of fucking money you've ever made in your life? Because if you answer anything less than $900,000, you are fucking stupid for expecting $1 million right now. Like, you are literally fucking brain dead. So this is what you have to understand. If you've only ever made $10,000 in a year before, your first goal has to be something that is realistic to what you've done. You have to build up to that point. You can't sit here and fucking $100,000 is your goal, but motherfucker, you've only made 10K last year. It doesn't make sense. For me, I learned that the hard way. You know what my goal was the first year of trading? My first goal was 100K. You know what my goal was second year? $25,000. You know how much money I made my second year? Close to $100,000 USD. So I made over 100K Canadian. So you want to know why I fucking exploded year 2? Is because I set better fucking goals. I set very realistic goals and incrementally made myself work harder. But it's like every 30 days I was increasing a goal realistically. So for example, right? Let's go take a look at this, right? shit. Listen to some Rio. But basically, if we sit here and we look at my YouTube, right? So if we look at my channel, right? Literally since I started streaming, right? I just started being consistent, right? Since I started streaming. Let me pull up the actual... this shit, right? So if we go to analytics, right? In the last 28 days, I've literally only been streaming consistently since June 14th. Like June 14th is literally when I started. So 30 days, less than 30 days, less than 28 fucking days ago, right? 1.4K views, which is 1.1K more than usual, right? Per month, because I kind of fell off YouTube. I stopped being as consistent on YouTube. But 1% fucking better every week, every day, right? 378 hours. You have to understand, 378 hours is a long fucking time. 55 subscribers. I got more than a subscriber per day. Make it make sense. All I did was be consistent. All I did was show up for the stream the same way you guys show up for the stream. The thing is, you guys make money. You keep coming back. You invite your friends the next time. Now we get more people. Right? So you have to understand, my goal right now is to get paid through YouTube. Right? And it's like, I'm progressively getting closer. When I first started paying attention to this, I had 180 subscribers. Right? And I only had 100 hours of public watch time. Okay? So this is really what you have to understand. This is another stream of income. You guys could be streaming on YouTube too, but you guys are sitting here and you're getting ready to get ready. The difference between you and me is you guys sit here and you think about what you should do. I go and do it. That's the difference between me and you. I go do the shit that you know you should be doing, right? And you sit here and you wonder why you're not progressing. And it's because shit, motherfucker, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So when you don't do what you're supposed to do, you don't get the result that you expect. But the thing is, you sit here and you tell your, like, this is what you'll do as a human being, right? And this is really where, if you really just, like, take in what I'm about to say, you'll probably realize this might be you, right? So this is what most people do. Most people will hop on the call, but then they won't pay attention fully. They'll be distracted on their phone. They'll be watching something else. They'll be cooking in their kitchen, right? They'll be doing a whole bunch of other shit where they're not fully paying attention. So that means if they're not fully paying attention, they're not taking notes. So if they're not taking notes, what that means to me is that you already you're leaving 95% of the information that you heard on the table, because us as humans forget 95% of the things that we don't write down. So it's not my opinion that you're not writing things down, you're going to forget it. It's a fucking fact that if you don't write things down, you are going to forget it. So if you forget 95% of the things that we don't write down and you're consistently distracted while being on the calls, that means you are consistently missing 95% of the information that's on the calls consistently. So if you miss 95% of the value on every single call, then on top of that, you're literally kind of applying what you kind of understand. You might be applying the wrong thing, and the wrong thing that you're applying is literally probably the most insignificant part that you need to be applying to actually do what you need to do. And this happens all the time. But then what you do as a human being, because you're so fucking, like, not you, but we're dumb. We're literally stupid sometimes, right? We give ourselves credit for that. We didn't say, oh my God, I'm doing so good. I'm doing so good. You reward yourself for doing basic ass generic shit, but then you also reward yourself for doing the wrong shit. You sit here and say, I'm a good trader. I know how to trade. But then you consistently blow your account. You consistently over leverage. It's like, you keep telling yourself a delusion because you think you're manifesting your reality. It's no, motherfucker. You're sitting here and you're driving yourself crazy because, yeah, you might be affirming one thing, but the affirmations is one aspect. It's one side to it. Your actions speak louder than your words. To me, I hate somebody that says sorry versus showing me that they're sorry. Like, don't apologize. Show me that you're gonna apologize. To me, I don't apologize and not try and do something different, because I don't really have to apologize for the same shit. For me, if I have to apologize for the same shit, that means I'm just not listening and being ignorant. So that means that I probably shouldn't even be trying to compromise with the person that I am, right? So I don't like to say sorry, because to me, sorry is just such a fucking watered down. It's like, people say sorry for everything. People say sorry, like, people say sorry and then go do the same bullshit that they're saying sorry for, and then they say sorry again. It's like, what the fuck? Why do you say sorry in the first place if you're just gonna do it again? So I'd rather just sit there and show you. If I do say sorry, it's because sorry, I won't do it again, right? I'll be conscious. I'll be aware. So we sit here and we convince ourselves that we're doing better than we actually are, and then when we're not getting the result, we feel bad for ourselves because we're like, damn, how are we not getting this result? I'm doing everything. When in reality, it's like, you're not even doing 10% of what you need to do. And then on top of that, your thoughts are shit. On top of that, you hang around with bummy people. You don't hang around with no one that's successful off of trading. You don't talk to people. Like, a lot of people on my team, I sit here and I'm like, I'm convinced that you guys just have amazing friends. Because I'm like, a lot of you guys don't really attempt to talk to me outside of just asking for help. And it's like, you wonder why it's so difficult for you to feel confident to come ask for help. It's because, motherfucker, you sit here and it's like, you treat me like that instructor that is gonna fucking beat you up if you're fucking wrong. It's like, no. It's like, I'm very blunt, but at the same time, it's because people that give you watered down information are just, they don't care about you. I'm trying to save you time. That's why I'm being blunt. If you want to go waste your time, then motherfucker, I'll sit here and we'll be happy-go-lucky, lollipops and motherfucking rainbows and fucking, yeah. But that's simply not the case. I don't care to do that. I don't care to be liked by other people, which is another thing. People are afraid to be disliked. You're afraid to be disliked by your friend group. That's why you don't promote trading. You're afraid that your friends are going to sit here and they're going to talk about what you're doing, when it's like, if your friends have anything other than positive things to say about you, they're not your fucking friends. So take the signs that the universe and God has given you. The universe and God sit here and is listening to you. You're like, damn, remove anyone who's fake out of my life. You know, clear me out of anyone's way that's not just looking for genuine love. Whoop, whoop. And then the universe exposes all of the bums in your life, and then you sit there and you're like, nah, that's my homie. That's my dogs. I've been friends with him since forever. This person makes me feel good. This person makes me feel happy. If your reliance on having a relationship with someone is because they make me feel good or they feel happy, I know you're fucking miserable inside. Because if you externally need someone else to feel good or happy consistently, that just means that you're fucking, like, you hate your life. You hate yourself. And if you hate yourself, you have to learn to love yourself before you can sit here and expect people to love you and take you seriously. That's why people don't take you seriously, because they can sense that you don't even take yourself seriously. Like, I challenge all of you guys on this call, like, for real. Because I know none of you guys are going to do it, literally. Maybe one of you are really fired up right now and you're really hit rock bottom this week and you're really sick and tired of all the bullshit that's been going on in your life. And you one person might take it seriously. But for the most of you, you're comfortable, right? Let's be honest. You guys make decent money at your jobs. Decent enough to be able to go and have a little fun outside of work, right? So, to me, once you get to that point where you're making decent amount of money, it's like you get really complacent. Right? But for the person who's really teed up and really ready to fucking get to that next level, right? I challenge you to lock the fuck into the point where it's like, you sit here and you don't talk to anybody. Like, when I say you don't talk to anyone, I'm like, I challenge you to literally talk to nobody in your circle that doesn't add value to your life. And when I mean add value, I mean legitimately add value. Like, I mean a mentor. Stop hanging around people who don't have what you want. Stop talking to them. Why are you talking to them when they're in the same fucking stupid ass boat and position as you? Stop talking to these fucking broke people expecting to not be broke. Sometimes you need separation to elevate. Sometimes you need to take a week away from your best friend to go study and apply all of this crazy information, and then you come back and then you share it with them. Because then maybe you could break it down in a way that'll make sense for them. Maybe you're so fired up now that you light the fire up in them, right? You have to stop looking at it as being selfish and start looking at it as being generous. Because until you be selfish with your own learning, how are you going to expect to be generous with other people and teach them all of the amazing lessons that you guys learned and applied, right? Drop an 888 if this is making sense, and if you guys are hearing what I'm saying. Like, some of you are listening but you're not hearing me. Like, drop an 888 in the chat if you're hearing me, right? You're not just listening to me, you're hearing me. You're hearing me out. Because it's like, everyone says they're going to make these changes, and it's like, nobody really tries to drastically change. Like, you should really feel uncomfortable. Like, you should really sit here, and it's like, if you don't have 100K right now, it's like, make deals with yourself. Like I said, cut off certain people. Go make certain sacrifices, right? And you're not cutting off people with a negative intent. You're cutting people off with love. You're leading with love. You always lead with love. Like, it's not that we're not leading with love, family. It's just you're going to start to see who actually loves you when you're not necessarily loving them all the time. Like, I guarantee you, family, you're going to start to see, like, damn, this person doesn't really fuck with me as much as I thought they did. This girl doesn't fuck with me as much as they thought they did. Right? You need to be pushing yourself for growth. Like, in my group chats, like, I sit here and I see people, it's like, to me, none of you guys be doing personal development. None of you guys be reading books. None of you guys be watching videos. And the reason why I know that is because none of you guys be sharing anything that you learn. Nobody is sending me their notes. So that means nobody's taking notes. Nobody is sending me what books they're reading. So I know nobody's fucking reading books consistently, right? Nobody is sending anything. That's how you know you're not progressing, right? The best way to learn is to teach, right? But it's not teaching the wrong thing. So sometimes you got to sit here and it's like, if you hear something from a book, for example, make sure you regurgitate the facts, right? If you hear something that's a fact, go do your research, make sure it's a fact, and make sure that you're able to regurgitate and actually comprehend and explain that point to people consistently without just really getting confused or fucking up. And if you can do that, then shit, you're going to find yourself just in a position where you're going to be able to progress a lot faster, family. But like I said, you guys do what you want. Because like I said, I'm just telling you guys what worked for me, right? I literally put my head down. The only people I talked to were people that were literally on my level. Like, the only people that didn't have the results that I listened to and talked to every single day were people that were literally right beside me. So they were like my sideline. So I want you to think about someone who maybe has been trading just as long as you. And maybe they have a little bit better of a result, but they're basically at the same level as you. Like, they're learning at just as much as you're learning. They're learning the same shit, if not, you know, they're going through similar information. So you want to have those type of people that are just as hungry around you. If they're not hungry for change, then you don't want to be around them, because you got to be around people that really make you like get on the, like, I feel like when people get around me, like, they just want to go home and they want to work, like, after talking to me. And it's like, if your people are not, don't make you feel like that all the time. If people don't make you feel like, damn, I should be working or I should be doing this, you gotta find a new circle, right? So in terms of that, family, right, it's 12:18. We are currently up about 30 pips, right? We're up a pip for every minute and a half cash talked this whole hour, right? Which is amazing, right? Like I said, based off the hourly, right, we definitely caught to me, the highest point that we should really come back to. Like I said, this IPA right here, we took the lows, filled this IPA. If we reverse, like I said, I gave you guys the first area that you should have partial took profit. I personally am just looking to hold it. If it comes back up, I'm not even going to break even. I'm just going to close with a small profit. If it does punch back up into here, I don't even care to just break even. I'll take my small dub and keep it thugged. And it looks like we might actually get a pop out of here. Right now, it looks like we're really failing to kind of break through on the smaller time frames. But hourly wise, 40 minutes left. Like I said, overall, I do want to see us kind of break through this. If we break through this, like I said, these equal lows right here, I don't think there's anything that really stops us from getting there. And hopefully we get there today, right? If not, then we probably get there closer towards the market open tomorrow at about like 6 o'clock. Like I said, 5-minute engulfing candles. Like, it looks good right now on the smaller time frames to really continue higher. But like I said, we are getting a reaction out of this IPA on 15 minutes, so it just makes sense. But in terms of that, family, I love and appreciate you guys. If you guys got any type of value at all, make sure you guys send out the link to everyone tomorrow. We're gonna be live at 10 tomorrow. My apologies for being up late today. I literally just woke up late, went to sleep late, but like, I actually woke up on time, but then I just fell back asleep. Right, but in terms of that, family, I appreciate you guys. Like I said, watch the recording if you guys want to just kind of go back and rewatch anything. But like I said, I feel like these calls are very, very valuable. So like I said, stop worrying about what these people are saying and just share these call links with anyone that's on your team. Like, I have a lot of people that, like I said, they come onto these calls and it's like, you sharing this call link with someone is literally you doing your deed for the day, you helping someone for the day, and you're not even realizing that you have the potential to really help someone just as much as you're helping yourself. So like I said, my goal for the end of August is to have consistently 50 plus on these calls. So in order to get 50 plus people on these calls, every single one of you guys need to invite 3 people, right? If every single one of you guys invite 3 people to the next call, we can have 50 plus, right? So drop a 333 in the chat if you guys are bring 3 people for me next call, right? Get 3 people on the stream, right? But with that being said, family, like I said, I love and appreciate you guys. I'm gonna catch you guys tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you guys are in the cut. But with that being said, like I said, if you need anything, shoot me a DM. If you guys want to lock in terms of mentorship, shoot me a DM. Like I said, if you're not enrolled in the academy or you're not enrolled in any type of mentorship, shoot me a DM right now. I am taking spots for July/August still, so make sure you guys lock in with me as soon as possible, family. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna catch you guys on the flip.